Hey everyone, Andrew, day 2 Dryden, recording here again for day 2 MTG, and today we are playing Burn in Modern. And if this is the kind of content you enjoy, please do make sure to like, share, comment, and most importantly, subscribe to the channel, especially for smaller content creators like myself. Big help to see those subscriber numbers go up. Helps YouTube, promote my videos, things like that. Yeah, so, oops, sorry, I'm trying to figure this out. I'm just double checking here. I should have done this before, just to also quickly double check. I don't think there's any new patrons since the last time. Okay, so no new patrons to welcome to the channel since the last time I recorded. But of course, again, thank you so much to the current patrons and people who watch the channel, because it still surprises me now. It's still very humbling, to think that there's this many people who still enjoy watching the content. So today's video, though, is going to be more about hate. Hate. That's what today's video is about. I put a sideboard guide out for September a couple days ago. Played a couple leagues since. And you know what? I'm just getting tired of getting moderned, as a local player here puts it, Phil Roman, if anyone knows him, from Nikachu's vlogs. Very big player here in Winnipeg. Been a part of the scene for a long time. But yeah, there was one time somebody came to their first FNM or their first Thursday night modern event, and they got blood mooned on turn 2, like 2 rounds in a row, and like, oh, you got moderned. That's kind of what it feels like sometimes. Modern's less about those hate cards nowadays, because now it's more about busted decks than oppressive sideboard cards. But I haven't been playing with some of those cards in a long time. So you know what? I'm getting tired of getting kicked around. I'm getting tired of all these people doing broken stuff. So now we're going to start bringing in some sideboard hate. So this main deck, I'm really a big fan of. I think you could maybe add another Inspiring Vantage for a fetch land or for a Sunbaked Canyon or something. But this is the way I would want the mana base to be built right now. I think you could maybe go down to 2 basics, but like this seems to have the most play to it, and it seems to be the way that keeps your options open the longest. It's very rare now that I find myself needing to fetch out a basic land and there's none left in the deck, or, getting a Path to Exile on one of my creatures and not have any basics left, things like that. It can still happen, but by and large, I find that this is a very balanced, very good, clean mana base. Creatures are still all the same: Swift Spear, Goblin Guide. We got our spikes and bolts, always very important. We've gone up to 4 Skull Cracks in the main deck because the sideboard is, again, just full of angry hate cards, and I definitely don't want to have fewer than 4 Skull Cracks right now. Eidolon, you know what? There's a point in time when I was cutting Eidolon for Shrine of the Burning Rage and a few things like that, but right now Eidolon is seemingly back up. Modern seems to be a little bit more, I don't want to use the word fair necessarily, but at least more fair than it was previously. Decks like Storm are trying to come back. Control decks, sort of somewhat, not dirtily decks, but decks that are kind of just trying to do their thing, and maybe spin their wheels a little bit. So this is still a very strong card. Also a very strong card against the Wurza deck, right? The War of Invention Urza deck. So this is still a strong card to have. I've gone back up to 3 copies of Searing Blaze in the main deck. Actually, I guess I should say. So when Hogak was around, I was cutting this down to like 2 copies. Post Hogak, I went up to 4. But now, because again, we need to fit in some Skull Cracks and things like that, and the sideboard is just full of hate cards, including 3 Searing Bloods when we need those, I'm okay going down to 3 copies of Searing Blaze, because there's also decks like Ad Nauseam that are trying to make their comeback, and Searing Blaze is a very bad card against Ad Nauseam. So I'm 3. You could go 4 still, but with this particular build, I'm happy with 3. Still the 4 Boros Charms and the 4 Lightning Helixes. Burn is one of the best decks, one of the best positioned decks right now, and so cards like Lightning Helix are very strong in the mirror and very powerful. And so because of this, and because of how we've had to sort of shoehorn a few cards like Skullcrack that I normally just tuck a couple copies into the sideboard of, we've had to trim a little bit on our honorary bolts, our bolts that even though we usually spend 1 mana on them, they actually have a converted mana cost of 3, that being Rift Bolt and Skewer the Critics. So we're down to 3 copies and 2 copies of those respectively. Overall, still a balanced deck. I'm still, there are still times when Skewer the Critics is not great, so 2 copies is still fine. I think that's a fair number. And I mean, there's times when Rift Bolt's not great either. So those can be situationally bad cards, and they tend to help each other. So if we're going down on copies of, Skewer the Critics, we can go down on copies of Rift Bolt. And again, as I mentioned in a number of videos, Skewer the Critics has just absolutely horrible synergy. Usually, unless you're on maybe turn 3 or 4 by that point, with Monastery Swiftspear. Real weak synergy there. So yeah, pretty straightforward 60, except for maybe the numbers. The numbers have switched around a little bit. So in the sideboard, what are we packing then? What do we have with our hate cards? Well, we need 3. We need I mean, I guess you could probably go down to 2 copies, but I definitely think you want at least 3 copies of Path to Exile. Burn is a big deck, and even though I'm not a huge fan of it, a lot of people are going with Core Firewalkers in their sideboard for that reason. The reason I'm not a big fan of it isn't because Core Firewalker isn't a very strong card against Burn. It really is. I don't see a lot of decks in the meta right now outside of Burn that Core Firewalker is good against. Phoenix isn't a deck anymore. Mono Red Prowess is still absolutely playable, but it isn't a big player the way it used to be. So I don't think Core Firewalker is a great choice. I shouldn't say it's not a great choice, because again, there are a lot of Burn decks doing really well right now. But if I'm going to have a strong hate card, I'm not always a huge fan of having strong hate cards in my sideboard. And if I do have strong hate cards in my sideboard, I'm not a big fan of them being pretty narrow. And the fact of the matter is, Core Firewalker is fairly narrow in its applications, right? At least something like Auriok Champion has protection from black as well as red. So it's going to dodge things like Fatal Push, Assassin's Trophy, all that kind of stuff too, right? But just Core Firewalker, I don't know. To me, that's... You know what? Hey, if you get it right and you play Burn 3 matches out of 5 in your Modern League, hey, I mean, yeah, great choice, obviously, but I'm not a big fan of that. This is already a bit of a switch for me to play these sort of stronger hate cards. But you know what? Screw it. We're doing it. We're gonna modern people. That's the plan today. We're gonna get moderned. So, well, hopefully we don't get moderned. That would be what happened if a Core Firewalker comes against us. So, in addition to these strong Path to Exiles, we're also going to be playing 3 copies of Rest in Peace. Love this card, very powerful. Graveyards, be gone. Get out of here. You're out, you're basic. In addition to that, instead of running Smash to Smithereens, I've switched over to Stony Silence. And now, generally, Smash to Smithereens is better than Stony Silence. However, I've been having trouble beating Hardened Scales Affinity. The problem with Smash to Smithereens against Hardened Scales Affinity is that cards like Arcbound Ravager and Walking Ballista and things like that are really... like, Smash Smithereens is really bad against those cards. You need to have multiple removal spells, and even then it's like... the sequencing can be really hard and awkward to do. So we have enough spot removal just as it is in the deck. I think if a card like this comes down, yes, they do have answers to it. They are going to be running Nature's Claims, even for their own life gain. A stupid trick, well, an unfortunate trick for our deck is that a Hardened Scales player can Nature's Claim their own Darksteel Citadel. And because Darksteel Citadel has Indestructible, basically what it says is 1 green mana, gain 4 life at instant speed. So it's pretty hard to fight through those kind of things. So yeah, so that's why we're going with Stony Silence. But again, they do have the Nature's Claims. This isn't just a guaranteed auto win card, but if we can land this, very confident that it's very good against it. Also, it's good against the Wurza deck. Now, maybe we don't need extra help against the Wurza deck, but there have been, again, times where this deck is very strong and it just curves out and it drops an Urza on like turn 3 and you can't, and then it just goes to town. So it's pretty tough. So because of that, I want this extra hate, and we'll see how it does. So in addition to that, because we don't have the Smash Smithereens, I wanted a little bit of Tron hate. So what I wanted to do was put in Blood Moons. The problem there is that against a lot of decks where I might want this card, Alpine Moon, Blood Moon shuts our own cards down. So I actually think right now that if you were going to play mono red burn, I think mono red is actually a very strong choice right now if you were going to play Blood Moons. The only thing about mono red is you do need to have answers to like core Firewalkers and Auriok champions. So whether you want to play something like Reality Hemorrhage, which is like a 2 mana instant speed 2 damage spell, but it has Devoid, so it's colorless damage. So unless you wanted to play Reality Hemorrhage or Kozilek's Return or something like that, maybe I don't know, Pyrite Spellbomb. Like there are some colorless sources of damage that you can find. So if you want to do something like that to have answers to those cards, as well as playing things like Blood Moon in your sideboard, I think that's a very strong choice right now, and I might actually do a league later this week with that, depending on how that goes. But for now, we're playing Boros, so I want to still be able to use my white mana, so we're going Alpine Moon. The nice thing about Alpine Moon as well is that it doesn't shut down all their cards, but it does shut down a specific land, which is usually what they need, and it only costs 1 mana, so it's way easier on our curve. Not only that, but it comes down before turn 3. So if you're on the draw against Tron, it's possible for them to just go like, Tron lands number 1, 2, 3. Okay, well now they've got Tron. So now, then you get your third turn, then you can maybe Blood Moon them. And yeah, with Goblin Guides and Swift Spears, you might be able to get a strong start out like that. But the fact of the matter is that they can have Tron for a full turn before you can get a Blood Moon out if you're on the draw. I didn't love that. So that's why, again, another reason I went for Alpine Moon. You can also do things like name Valakut, things like that. So that's pretty strong too. So yeah, again, another modern hate card. And then you know what? All those creature decks, humans is a big deck right now, which is tough. A bunch of other things like that. Searing Blood, just get the creatures dead. Get these things out of the way. Swing in with the creatures. No dice for you. So, yeah, just kind of strong. Maybe a little bit more narrow, but, hate cards. That's kind of what this deck's about. So hopefully it works out. I'm actually not sure. I haven't played with this deck yet, built in this way, and I haven't used these kind of cards for a very long time. So that's the reason for my choices, and the reason I've built the deck a little bit differently here. So, yeah, we're going to jump into a league and see how it does. So this has been Andrew, Day 2 Dryden, recording here for Day 2 MTG. Please subscribe to the channel, and I will see you in round 1. Alright, now this is the classic problem with my hands, is they've only got 1 land in them. And we're on the draw, unfortunately. But, Goblin Guide, Lightning Bolts, I do like the way this hand is. Not knowing what we're up against, I'm willing to keep this hand. And hopefully on the strength of a couple Goblin Guides here, we can get out ahead of our opponent. And, yeah, just take it to them. Okay, so we're going to see how that Alpine Moon works out in this matchup. And Goblin Guide is this is one of those matchups where I'm really happy to just go like turn 1 Goblin Guide, turn 2 Goblin Guide. This is one of the decks where we can maybe get away with keeping a slightly greedy hand like this and still be able to just race our opponent. Sorry, I don't want to go. It's always on turn 1 where I have a chance of like talking too fast and missing my attack step. That would be very, very bad. So they've got Karn on the way. We know that. Well, okay. All right, so they're going to have a turn 3 Karn. That is, well, and who knows, maybe even a turn 3 Wormcoil Engine. So that's pretty weak. It's not what we want to see. We got to get the creatures out and we got to get our damage in. So that's unfortunate. We can still win here though. If they don't have much of a follow-up, we're in good shape. So obviously we want to draw land. That's obviously what we want to do. And is it Karn or is it Wormcoil? It's probably it's Wormcoil. So now we already did, but now we really. Did I miss something? Why didn't they play the Chromatic Sphere with their floating mana? Okay, I think they might have missed something there, but yeah, so what we want to do is we really want to draw a land here. So we have these main deck skull. Oh, man. I was gonna say we have these main deck skull cracks, which it would be good. It'd be really good, you know, if we could just draw a land and maybe find a way to. So what would happen? Maybe swing in. Let's say we skull crack. Again, like best case scenario, we swing back for 4. So now they're at. Yeah, I don't know. Okay, well, either way, this is a horrible situation. We're probably just gonna lose. But I think the only way we have even a chance of winning now is I'm going to Lightning Bolt my own Goblin Guide after blocking this Wormcoil Engine. That might not even happen. They might just play Karn and exile our... Yeah, see, they had this in hand. They might just play Karn. Well, no, they're not playing Karn now. Maybe they think they can just win off this. That's strange to me. I mean, I guess they got a free roll here. They're just playing the mine anyway. Oh, they're going to play Ugin? No, they're going to play Karn. Okay. So, yeah, they're still getting this out. Yeah, so now we're just toast. So I'm just going to concede. This game's over. Yeah, I was going to say, if Karn exiles the land before blocks, then I can't even do anything. So, yeah, this game's just over. So... you know what the other actually nice thing about all these sort of like hate cards was? I made a second sideboard guide, even though I made a sideboard guide the other day, and then I made this deck with these, you know, more hate-filled sideboard cards. I made a second sideboard guide, and it took me minutes. It took me just minutes because the decisions were so much clearer. Oh, this is good against this. This is good against this. Bam. So on the play, which is what we're going to be doing, we want to put, 3 Alpine Moons. What did I do? 2 Stonies. We don't need 3. I don't want to over sideboard against a pretty good matchup on the play. And then want a couple of paths for those worm coils, which don't do us any good. We don't love Eidolon in this matchup. And we don't really like Searing Blaze. I'm willing to keep 1, but yeah, it's not something I really... Oh, took out... Oh, sorry. Yeah, no, just take out all the Searing Blazes. Yeah, of course. Okay, perfect. All right, let's try that. Let's see how this goes. Now, this isn't one of those matchups where I'm like, oh, the hate cards will be so strong. Like, again, 1 land hands. So we have a turn 1 creature, which is really strong. We have a Skullcrack, which is really strong. If we draw a second land, I mean, they could even just go like Expedition Map or something. We can possibly get it with a Stony Silence if we draw a card. I don't think I can throw away a Swift Spear into Lava Spike hand. I think this is, again, still just a very strong opening. We do need a second land. We will need a second land by, like, I don't know. I want to say need, but yeah, a second land is something this hand definitely wants. Gonna make me look really silly here, possibly, if it just doesn't show up. So, but I mean, if we draw it, depending on what they do on turn 1, we might even... Okay, Expedition Map. So if we draw a second land, I'm absolutely slamming the Stony Silence. It's going to be great. Come on. Come on, make me look smart. 1 time. Oh, that's not what we wanted. That's not what we wanted. It's not what we wanted. This is still a strong start. This is still not a bad start, but being able to turn off that Expedition Map would have been really, really clutch. Would have really enjoyed that. Okay, well, we eventually got there. So I obviously can't play the Stony now. Well, I mean, I could, but it's not very strong here. Right, because they just cracked the Expedition Map in response. So probably better here is just a Boros Charm when we've basically got free reign to hit them for for 8, and then we can hold up Skull Cracks and things after that. So yeah, let's just do that. I mean, hey, maybe they try to kill our creatures or something, and then yeah, no, they're just gonna do this. So it's like, I don't know, I don't know what they run. Maybe like a Dismember or something. I don't think that's really smart, but if they did, I would just play the Stony Silence. So again, we've got even with that missed land drop, Forest. Okay, so they just got Tron in hand then. So maybe it's actually worked out better that we didn't play the Stony Silence, because they would have just had turn 3 Tron anyway. See, so now this is the reason I thought about playing Stony Silence anyway. Like this is sort of what lets them do other crazy things too, right? They get to start drawing cards and sort of filtering through for what they want. But 5. Yeah, that's frustrating. It's frustrating. I didn't think they'd be able to... Well, it required a very specific number of cards, right? They needed a filter spell and Thragtusk, and so it's possible they could have held up Skullcrack, but I don't think that was the right play. It also means that... Yeah, it also means that that Stony Silence last turn would have been even stronger. That's tough. That's tough. Well, we're just going to hold up here at this point. No point in doing anything else. So, we're in trouble. We're in a bit of trouble here. If they just play like a Karn and start hitting our mana, we're in big trouble. See, this is why, like, I don't know, like these matchups used to be really, really favored, and they're just like, I don't know, they just don't feel favored anymore. Okay, well, at least we have an answer to that. Thank goodness there. That would have been game ending. They just gain another 5 life. What is this? Oh, yeah, okay, sure. Like, there was no need to do that right there, but sure, whatever. Alright, so we're still in a bit of trouble here. Obviously not blocking that. I guess I could, but I feel like that's... If it's just going to soak up 5 damage, it's probably going to do the same amount later, and I'd like to keep my options as open as I can. That's going to be strong if we draw another land. Alright, so what can we do here? I don't think with 2 Thragtusks on board I have the option to play a Stony Silence and limit their, for them to just sort of cycle things with Chromatic Star. I don't think I have that option. I think right now I basically need to go Boros Charm at end of turn, untap, hopefully draw a land, and yeah, I just need to start emptying my hand here. So yeah, this Stony Silence is looking really bad, even on the play. This is looking quite poor. But then again, you know what? It might have been pretty good to just slam that on turn 2 if we had. And this is like if our mana gets hit, we're in big trouble here. That's the one. Ugin, yeah, that's okay. Ugin's fine. Well, it's not fine, but it. I really wish I had 2 bolts here right now. But what it means is that we're on a serious clock because we can't chump block. So yeah, so... All right. Yeah, okay. So now we just can't win. So this card's dumb, by the way, if no one's seen this card. So Tron and all these decks now have a 2 mana instant speed, gain somewhere between 3 and like 12 life spell. The fact that they used to have like 4 mana, or in this case, right, with Thragtusk, like 5 mana, right? Even though they're able to get that kind of mana pretty easily, the fact that they have now a pretty reliable spell that they can cast for 2 is way harder to play around. It almost means that until they tap out, you can't tap out on turns like 2 through 4. And if you don't want to do that, it's hard to just race them and win like you normally would. So this card's showing up a lot in sideboards now, and it's actually really, I don't want to say oppressive, but I've come up against it against Valakut decks, against Tron decks, and it's a frustrating card to play against. The other thing too to note about this is with, Thragtusk into Weather the Storm, I think almost no matter what, I wasn't going to win this game. I almost think no matter what happened, I don't think I would have been able to race that. They were just gaining way too much life. If they hadn't had this life gain spell and I had blocked last turn, let's analyze it from that perspective. I'd still be at 18. I could Boros Charm. Well, they would shoot me actually, right, with Ugin. So I'd be at 18, I'd be at 15, I'd still be on like a one more. Well, no, because I'd gain life off Lightning Helix. Okay, so I'd need like another Lightning Helix, and I'd still probably be dead. I don't know why this card draw thing doesn't work afterwards. It's really kind of glitchy. It's very frustrating. Like, why even have this option? I feel like most people who use this, it doesn't work for them. So yeah, this is kind of one of the reasons why I'm getting a little bit frustrated and putting, maybe I'm overreacting and getting angry about my sideboard cards. But even these good matchups, they don't feel that way anymore. They really truly don't. Which is again why maybe like a mono red list is better. It's something a bit more low to the ground, a bit more maybe one dimensional, but a bit faster. Yeah, way better. Either way, that's how that game went. Hopefully we see a little bit more. At least we saw Stony Silence and why it could have been good, but probably not. So anyway, this has been Andrew, Day 2 Dryden. I will see you in round 2. Yes, I am completely aware that it averages out over time, but it always feels like in the early rounds of these events, it feels like the early rounds are when I'm on the draw, and the late rounds when I need to scramble to try to like make my ticks back, that's when I'm on the play. So either way though, on the draw here, unfortunately, but this hand is great. We have 2 lands. That's a nice change for today. And we have Swiftspear into like Searing Blaze and all kinds of stuff. So, and if we flood out a little bit, you can even draw a new card with our friend Sunbait Canyon. So definitely keeping this hand. Okay. So a little bit annoying on the draw if there's like a Bird of Paradise, because on the... Ooh, that's also very strong. So this could be... this could be... How do I want to do this? No, with the Searing Blaze, I want to hold on to this. I'm thinking Infect, but I could be wrong. If it's Infect, we might be in a bit of trouble here because we don't really have any spot removal. Okay. I said Infect, not Insect, but okay, sure, resolves. That's a good draw. That's a good draw. So what happens here? We play Swiftspear, we play Goblin Guide. Excuse me. We attack. I don't know what I'm up against anymore. I assume this is some sort of creature toolbox deck now, because I don't know why you'd be playing this Caterpillar otherwise. Yeah, okay. I don't know what we're up against here, so I'm just gonna try to put as much on the board as I can, and then we'll deal with it afterwards. How did I not do that? Okay, there we go. We'll do it this way. Try to figure out what we're up against. That didn't tell us anything. Actually, I guess they could even double block. Okay. That's okay. I felt like we had a... I felt like they pretty much had a free block, especially since we didn't attack with the Swiftspear into it last turn. But sure. Oh, you know what? There's got to be... Yeah, they've got to be playing... or maybe not got to be, but they're playing Stoneforge Mystic or something maybe. That's what this Giver of Runes is there for. I was going to say a landfall trigger would have been nice. Well, I'm just going to attack in and we're going to see what happens. Another Giver of Runes. I don't know what to be expecting here, so I'm gonna wait. I don't know what I'm up against. I'm gonna do this now. Yeah, okay, sure. Okay, so they're definitely banned. Okay, we're just gonna do this now. Part of me was thinking like Spell Queller or something, but it came in tapped, so like I don't know what's going on here. I really don't know what's happening. If they want to play another one, that's fine. I'll attack into it again. They won't be able to give it protection this time. And who knows, maybe we even have a Searing Blaze with... Okay, and they didn't play it. So now I'm not sure what they're holding up. But I feel like we're going to attack in anyway. Oh, wait. Did they... Hold on. They might have shuffled that away. Sorry, hold on. Let me... I wasn't paying... See, you got to watch that. That's... Okay. Reveals Giver of Runes. Reveals Giver of Runes. And then activates Misty. Okay, so they actually don't have that in hand. Sorry. Yeah, okay. Ha! Okay, I knew it. I knew there was a Spell Queller in your hand. Sure. Resolves. I can't target it with anything that does anything right now. Sure. Block there. I'm not sure what I want to see happen here, so I'm just going to do this. This is not great. I really would have liked a landfall trigger for this by now, but whatever. It is what it is. They're down to 7. We've got 2 Swift Spears on board and Skull Cracks and things in hand, so like they need to have something going on. I don't know what we're playing as. It might just be like Bant good stuff. Although this Caustic Caterpillar seems like a second cost. It seems like bad stuff to me, but what do I know? Okay, well maybe they're just flooding out. I don't know what's happening anymore. That's pretty strong. I mean, if they don't... I'm just going to attack in. I don't know what I'm playing around right now, but 4 open mana... I don't mean, they could like Collected Company or something. Oh, snow covered. Yeah, okay. Doesn't have what has Death Touch if there's enough? Yeah, okay, so it doesn't have Death Touch at the moment. So that's fine. So if they want to try to block all this, I'll get a Prowess trigger, hit them to 4. Sure. 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 I guess we'll kill this first. No. Kill this first. Oh yeah, sorry, that's another thing. They could actually just sacrifice their... I didn't even think of that at first. They can just sack their Caterpillar to destroy the Eidolons. Or destroy the Eidolon. Guess we'll just do that. And that resolved, so I guess that means this will probably resolve. Like, I don't know what's going on here. This looks silly. Okay, well, this looks silly. Unknown deck. Alright, well, definitely looks like something where Searing Blood is going to be good. Looks like something where maybe even Path is okay, because there's creature removal. I don't really know. So what? We'll shave a couple of lava spikes, maybe a Boros charm, maybe a skullcrack. Just be able to answer their board a whole bunch, something like that. You got to think they take the costed caterpillars out, right? Like, is this Eidolon just horrible? Like, it might be. Generally, it's pretty good against these kind of decks. You know, play a 2-drop creature, play a 2-drop creature, take 4. I don't know. I think I'm gonna leave it in until I know more what I'm playing against. But yeah, the additional spot removal will almost definitely be strong. That was a weird. I don't know what I'm playing against. Man, these awkward hands here. Obviously, this is a mulligan. Much better. And since I don't know, here, we'll keep, and we'll get rid of Skullcrack. Hopefully, I don't need more than one. And again, we're going to keep this spot removal here. If they play like a Bird of Paradise or something, absolutely just bolt it. Give her runes. Do I bolt the Giver of Runes? I don't know. I think I don't. Let's see if they block this time. Alright, maybe they're worried I've got Gut Shot, but yeah, I don't know. Gut Shot isn't really a card you run in Burn. I mean, you know what? Actually, after sideboarding, I guess you could. You could put Gut Shots in. Alright, well now you're in trouble. Because even if you try and do anything, yeah, now you're in trouble. Like, what's this going to be? Flashing like an Ice Fang or something? Sure. Well, that's annoying. I mean, I guess it's fine though. Sure. Yes. Yeah, I don't really know what I'm playing around. I'm just gonna get this thing out of here. You go away now. Like, I'm thinking next turn if they do something like Spell Queller to like just take anything I have away, and then they can protect it with Giver of Runes. They just start controlling the board. Like, I don't really know what I want to do with that. That's a good card. That's a good. Yeah, I want to just curve out, just start casting my spells. Sure, fetch. Sure. Sure, draw your card. I guess I would like to draw a card. Yeah, I'm glad I didn't top deck that with all this mana. I don't care about this creature, I don't think. See, I think we're going to see a Spell Queller. And so then what we're going to do is we're going to Helix the Spell Queller and get to recast our Rift Bolt. So that would be super awesome if the Swiftspear were out, because we get so many prowess triggers. And again, this is why I wanted that Giver of Runes off the board. Very awkward. Yeah, so you just go away while I don't have to worry about you. Give me back my spell. And then, yeah, just, I don't know, hold up Skullcrack, I guess. Sure. Sure. I'm going to not crack my second fetch land for Searing Blaze possibilities. But I certainly do hope I don't draw another land. Excellent. Do I just win? No. Not yet. Not yet. Which is unfortunate since they obviously don't have Spell Queller right now. But we can play a little bit of a waiting game here. Do I just put them to 2? No, I don't think so. Yeah, Spell Queller's tough. But we can play at instant speed, and we got a bit of time here. It's a bit frustrating. But it would have been really nice to draw like a 1-mana spell. It does mean I can probably fetch at end of turn though. Deck thin again. They're not hitting land drops, so I'm thinking they've just got a handful of gas because they're not getting any clue tokens or anything. That's weird. Yes, put something on the board. Ah! And you know what? We're going to do it actually right now while it's on the stack too. Yeah, you know what? Just take a basic, I guess. So hopefully they don't have a counter spell for this, but... Okay, cool. So I don't know what this was. Bant Company. I assume a deck like this has to be running like Collected Company or something like that, but I don't actually know. I mean, all these cards are modern playable. I just haven't seen them together, and I think we're pretty well set up to deal with them. They also just didn't have great... I don't know. They didn't have great... like a great curve. It seemed like they were sort of holding up, and we played around them holding up spells when they did. This is one of the reasons why Core Firewalker is not a great card in my opinion. I mean, yeah, they cast it on turn 7. It's not really when you want to be doing it, but I mean, what else are you going to do? Anyway, all right, so we're 1-1. We didn't really use any of our hate cards there. We just brought in some Searing Bloods, something we normally might play anyway. So maybe that's a lesson to be learned. But either way, we're in the winner's bracket. We're in at least the partially winner's bracket, so that's good news. And hopefully we play against more decks like this. This small creature decks and stuff, this is definitely where I want to be today. But this has been Andrew, Day 2 Dryden. See you in round 3. Awesome. So, I complained enough last round that the Magic Gods have decided to put me on the play this time. And hey, you know what? Double Goblin Guide with Lightning Bolt backup? Yeah. Yeah, I think that's what we want to do. I think that sounds absolutely fantastic. We're up against Red Lymphocyte. Well, you're about to get some red from our buddy GG over here. G squared, double G. G Wiz. He's a good card. Okay. Might see a Fatal Push or something. Obviously, this Murderous Cut is not going to... Oh, yeah! There we go. Yes. Excellent, excellent. It's not quite as good as the Triple Goblin Guide, but it's pretty close. It's pretty close. You better have a Fatal Push here, or you are in trouble. Double Watery Grave. Okay, well, we're drawing your cards at least. There you go, you got something. They've always got something. So, Watery Graves, Murderous Cuts. I don't know, this could be Death Shadow. If so, I don't want to cast any more spells. But we'll see here. Yeah, if it is Death Shadow, I just want to play a land. Maybe attack in for 3, but just pass the turn. I'm just going to hold up all my spells. They're probably debating whether they pay 2 life for this Watery Grave or not. Oh, no, they got a delta too. Okay, well, that's fine. So yeah, I'm thinking this is like Death Shadow, so I am absolutely just gonna play. Okay, they ditched one of these. That's a pretty good draw. I am just gonna sit back and relax. Attack in with some of these dudes. If it is Death Shadow, they... Oh, cute. Alright, that's neat. So they can't cast that this turn. Oh, they can't cast it this turn anyway. It's not in their hand. Yeah. Okay. Mm-hmm. I don't know what they're fetching for blue for. Alright, so this is not Death Shadow, I don't think. Draw a card. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Oh, they're doing this so they can Murderous Cut. Okay. Sure. One, two, three. Yeah, they're doing this so they can Murderous Cut. I'm actually tempted to just Boros Charm. Okay, so what happens if I Boros Charm and Protect? They take 4 and go to 10. What happens if I Boros Charm just their face? They go to 8. And then I almost have lethal, but less on board. Yeah, okay. And actually, hold on then. What happens if I Boros Charm and Bolt? What does that do? 7 damage plus... That puts them to 4. That makes this Boros Charm lethal? Ooh. They're tapped. Again, I hate playing around Stubborn Denial. This is tight. If I'm playing against Death Shadow. Actually, you know what? I changed my mind. We're just gonna deal them 1. They can go to 13. They can deal themselves damage if they really want to. That's fine. If they want to play a Death Shadow next turn, they have to do something. They have to deal damage to themselves. And again, I still have 11 damage just sitting in my hand that I can just totally unload. So remind me what this thing does. Surveil 2. So they get to look at the top 2 cards, put any number into graveyard. So they get to sort of like almost like scrying, but instead of putting it at the bottom, they can choose graveyard. And then they can... And then they basically have flashback. Okay, here we go. So this is a mill deck. That's what this is. Okay, so this is a mill deck. That's good to know. Okay, so basically, we're trying to count to 13, and they're trying to count to 51 here. That's what's happening. So I should have just gone for it. But, whatever. What are you going to do? Sure. Sure. We should keep an eye on what's in our own graveyard here. Ooh, actually, before this went, I should have fetched. In fact, I should do it now. Last thing I want to do is not be able to get access to my lands. Okay. Well, that's also not what I wanted to see happen, but whatever. So they better have another removal spell here. They don't. Ah, that was a mistake. I should have just let the 2 damage go through. Maybe they were waiting for me. Yeah, okay. I don't think so. No, they would have countered or killed it. It doesn't really matter. Okay, so we're up against Mill. So, it's been a while since I played against a Mill deck. Yeah, we don't really want to change anything. We could put something like Rest in Pieces in. Searing Blazes aren't great. They're good against those like Hedron Crabs and stuff, but we don't really have a lot of targets. So I'd be willing to put a Rest in Peace in instead. That way it takes away things like Visions of Beyond or what's that other card? Whatever. Something like you gain 3 for each card in a graveyard. For each creature card in a graveyard. It's instant, 1 black, 2 generic. I forget what it's called right now. I don't think there's anything else I really need. I don't even think I really need those, if I'm being honest. Yeah, that's fine. Like, this card's not amazing, and this card might be amazing, so that's fine. Okay, good enough. That was definitely a strong rollout, though. On the play, Goblin Guide into Swift Spear. This is another strong start. Turn 1 Goblin Guide and just a handful of burn spells. Yeah, that's great. And we could have won even faster if I hadn't been worrying about it being Death Shadow. Okay, so they mulligan to 6. Of course, they get to C7 every time, but they're going to start with 6. I guess they're waiting to see if they're going to go to 5. Nope, they went with 6. Okay. Hedron Crab. Okay, well. Fortunately, it doesn't have 3 toughness. I actually thought it had 3 toughness in between games. Okay, so I don't have Searing Blazes in the deck, and they have a card, Archive Trap. So I want to get this fetch land out of my hand right now. If they have Archive Trap, they just have it. That's fine, whatever. I couldn't play around it. But by getting it out of my hand early on, I'm playing around it as best I can. So we'll see what happens. I've definitely gone, Arid Mesa, fetch, double Archive Trap. Oh, that's fantastic. Not. Wow, just put 26 cards in my graveyard. Oh, that's a fine how do you do. Okay, another Hedron Crab. Okay, yeah, alright. That's gonna get the mill train going. Alright. So we've lost Skull Cracks, Rift Bolts, and nothing too crazy. Again, I don't want to run out of lands. Obviously, we're going to attack. Keep drawing them lands. Actually, I guess, no, we didn't. I mean, yeah, sure, okay. Actually, no, I should have fetched. I should have fetched before that card resolved, because again, I'm trying to play around Archive Trap. So, hopefully they didn't draw it that turn, but or with that draw step. Or with that Visions of Beyond. Field of Ruin. Okay. Okay. If they want to Field of Ruin now, that's fine. Go for it. I will get a basic out of my deck before they possibly just mill them out. Ugh. Yeah, that thing. That's the reason I wanted that. So what are they getting? 1, 2. Oh, great. So they're getting 9 life. Oh, that's just fantastic. It's a tough one. They need that card, though, because this is generally a pretty bad matchup for them. So they need cards like, okay, well, that's not what I wanted to see. Oh, great. So if they use this card, I don't know what I'm searching for. Do I search for a Rest in Peace? Because I don't get to see what they search for. Do I search for a Rest in Peace? Or do I search for, like, Skullcrack? I think I search for Rest in Peace. But I don't actually know. I could also search for, like, Eidolon. Eidolon would be strong. There's a lot of strong choices here. I don't know what they're searching for. That's the thing. I don't know what they're searching for. Okay, so what if they have life gain? I mean, there's no more creature cards in my graveyard, so this Crypt Incursion, if they have any more of them, might be kind of weak. So to me, it's tough. It's tough. I don't know what they're gonna choose, and I don't know what I want. I feel like it's Eidolon, Skullcrack, or Rest in Peace. Those are the only things I'm really considering. Okay, this might be a mistake, but let's grab an Eidolon. Oh, that's a sick combo. Whatever I choose, they get to just put into my graveyard. Okay, cool. That's smart. That's actually really neat. That's a really neat combo. Hadn't thought of that. Okay, well, I'm down to 30 cards. This isn't so bad. I've been in way worse situations, especially considering they gained like 9 life or whatever it was. Okay, well, that's obviously like the worst draw. I mean, only one. Okay, so they can spend 3 mana to gain one more. They can spend 3 mana to gain 3 life. It's probably not where they want to be, but whatever. At this point, that might be all they need. Yeah, these Hadron crabs are doing a lot of work. It's possible that I should have just bolted them a million years ago. I didn't think this would get so grindy, to be honest, but... What is it? How does this one work again? Library has 20 or fewer cards in it. Okay, well, we're not there yet. Almost. 23. Oh, great. And now, okay, well, so now they like gain like 9 life with this Crypt Incursion. Come on, draw. How many Skullcracks do I have left? 1, 2, 3. Okay, so there's 1 left in my deck. Okay, well, that's good in a way. If they don't block this, then I can kill them at instant speed. Take the damage. Take the damage. Take the damage. Oh, come on, just take the damage. Sure. Okay, that means they can't Crypt Incursion. Oh, it does mean they get to play this card, though. Come on, just take the damage. Ugh. Okay. Ah, see, now they block. Ah, I guess they feel like they don't need it anymore, which is probably true. But it would have been nice if they had gone one more turn, because then I could just do this at instant speed. Maybe they were looking to see if they were going to hit the 4th Skullcrack. It's not the worst idea. If they hit the 4th Skullcrack, they know they don't have to play around it. Okay. Down to 13. Oh, there's the 4th Skullcrack. Oh yeah, look how fast they're tapping the mana now. Look at how fast this goes. Oh, what's happening? Oh, collective brutality. Great. All 3 modes. Okay, so I like pretty much can't win anymore, assuming my opponent's not a total dummy. Alright, great. So we managed to get ground out and lose this game, but it also shows why I think I brought those whatchamacallits in. Rest in pieces. Would have been good against the Visions of Beyond, would have been good against that Crypt Incursion. And we were actually able to beat one of them. It's the 2nd Crypt Incursion that's going to seal the deal on us here. Yeah. Come on, let's go. Yeah, okay, great. Come on, let's go. 23. Yeah, that's not a thing. Yeah, we're not beating that. Oh, yeah, right. And then they get to gain life also. Fantastic. All right, so let's make sure that we know everything that's happening. Visions, Crypts, Scheming. That Scheming card was actually really neat. That's a neat... Oh, what's this? Oh, yeah, this thing. Okay. All right. Delta go away? Oh, Crypt Incursion did. All right, well, we're not... I don't think we're winning this one, unfortunately, folks. Yeah, that would have been nice a while ago. Not even going to attack. Make sure there's nothing else I'm forgetting about. We do still have one more game. Although, I'm not seeing... Oh, 5 mana? Okay, something neat. Oh, just hard casting the Archive Trap. Yeah, that'll do it. Cool. See, we're playing around that early. Wow, okay, so these Hedron Crabs did a ton of work, and it would have been great to have an answer to them. Alright, well, let's take a look here. Let's put 2 of these back. Let's put 2 in. It's going to be so bad if I draw one. I don't need it. I don't need Helix. I don't need to gain life. Okay, let's do that. Let's put 2 of them back in. I think that's fine on the play. I would like a 3rd good hand in a row, though. Game 1 and 2 were both pretty strong opening hands. Maybe not. How do I put it? I don't know. It's frustrating when you get a really strong hand on the draw that would have just been completely overpowered on the play, and then when you go on the play, you end up getting just mush. This is a potentially very strong hand. Eidolon and Rest in Peace, but we only have 1 land, and we can only cast 2 spells. I think I can do better. Ugh, well, this is worse. This is worse. It's worse, but it's like I know what I'm getting here at least. I'm going to keep this off the strength of Eidolon. I will get rid of Arid Mesa, I guess. Yeah, and try to play around those archive traps. Alright, so this Eidolon can possibly, I don't want to say take the game over, but it's very strong if they don't have a removal spell. Had a feeling something like that would happen. Yeah, let's do this. Okay. And hopefully these Sunbaked Canyons help us draw into some good stuff. Okay. And again, I don't care about my life total in this matchup. I'm counting to 20. You're counting, in this case, to 51. Oh, that's also pretty strong, actually. Yeah. You know what? Yeah, that's the play. We're going to attack in, see what they do, and then we're going to play the second Eidolon. That's really, really strong. To get in that fatal push. Wow. Just mono fatal pushes. Well, there's no real way to play around it. They're going to have removal, and they're going to have to use it. Which means they're still just going to take more damage. I'm going to get to draw more cards. Oh, that's really good. That means if they want a fatal push, they don't have any colored mana left. Sure. That's not the worst. I mean, that's not great. I would have rather been able to draw a new card off the Sunbaked Canyon, but this is still a strong start here. Considering how bad. Just don't be a land. Come on! Oh, dear. Actually, I should have cracked that. That was a mistake. If I drew like a Swift Spear or something, I would play it. And so now we're going to do this. Ah, see? Punished. 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 Oh, that sucks. Sucks because I called it too. All right. We'll see what we draw. I'd like to draw just any easy to cast spell so I can turn on the Skewer the Critics before. Okay. Oh yeah, so they get to do this again. So I get to put a card on top, and then they play this. So the top 3 cards go into my grave. So I want to choose something I don't actually want. I want to, yeah, that's what, so I want to play something. I want to choose a card I don't actually want to draw. It's kind of neat. Lets them tutor for anything they want, and I basically just lose whatever I choose. So I guess I would least like to choose a Wooded Foothills. I know your tricks now. I mean, like, sure. Come on. That's a bit frustrating. So how does this thing work now? Is this worth killing? So this thing's gonna start to put 3 cards in my graveyard every single turn. This thing's gonna happen next turn, which sucks. Yeah, so if they want to use all 3 modes on Collector Brutality, I want to make it so that one of them doesn't actually do anything. So I want to cast Skewer the Critics. So do I cast Skewer the Critics at their face or at this Manic Scribe? If I'm going to go down to 1 creature because of the Collective Brutality, the Manic Scribe actually becomes a pretty good blocker because it pretty much just shuts down these creatures. So by shooting this, it effectively opens up these, and then even the Eidolon next turn. So for that reason, I'm going to choose this line, even though I think generally hitting them in the face is the correct thing to do. But in this case, and maybe I'm like being too clever for my own good, I think that's what I want to do. There's only 2 creatures in my graveyard right now, so that crypt thing or whatever, gain 3 life, isn't... Alright, so they discarded... Oh, they didn't gain 2 life. That's frightening in a way, because it means they like all the cards in their hand that much. Interesting. So yeah, that means that Empty the Crypts or whatever the card is called gets them 9 life now. So they know I don't have a Skullcrack in hand anymore. So that's kind of tough to deal with. That's also very frustrating. All right. Enough of this silly business here. I have to play around them having that card. I think if I'm them, I just cast it right now. Like, yeah, if I drew a Skullcrack this turn, you get wrecked pretty bad. But if I didn't, I mean, you're in pretty good shape. I think if they have that the gain life card, they have to cast it now. I think that's the smart play. These are some grindy games. Yeah, and they agree. So go to 8. I think they gain 9. Go to what, 17? Yep. That's a tough one. That's a good draw, though. Don't be a land. Thank you. That is a good draw. I don't know what I deal to them now, but it's something good. Yeah, I guess I keep this in hand. I don't think... Yeah, they don't know what this... Yeah, they don't know what this card is. They just know that it isn't a Skullcrack. Oh, that's it? They just didn't have removal? So the Eidolon won the game for us? What was I going to draw? Lava Spike. Okay, so I have 4 power on board. And they just didn't have removal in hand? Yeah, I guess so. Yeah, Eidolon's strong in this matchup. Very strong. All right, well, that was definitely grindier than I wanted it to be. But I think, and I wasn't sure whether it was correct to bring in the Rest in Peace, but with how heavily they leaned on the Crypt Incursions, I think it's the right call. Yeah, maybe you just want to race and win, but having that little bit of interaction is really good. They also didn't play a creature. Oh, no, that's not true. They played a Manic Scrab. So they didn't play a creature all game, so those Searing Blazes would have been bad draws. Again, it's not sure if you want... You definitely don't want 4 in this matchup, but... you know, because like in game 2, Searing Blaze would have been great, you know, especially early on. Get those Hedron Crabs out of the way, but in game 3 it just would have been just almost a dead card unless I had it while the Manic Scribe was on the battlefield. Either way, okay, so yeah, we're 2-1 now. Awesome. Didn't really need the hate cards in this matchup either, but we did have the Rest in Pieces if if we ever had gotten there. So this has been Andrew, Day 2 Dryden. I will see you. What was that? It was 3, right? Yeah. So I will see you in round 4. All right. So this hand has 2 lands and 5 spells. So I'm gonna keep it. However, no creatures. Makes me a little nervous. But I mean, if this is just against like Jund or something, this is a great hand. Or even Tron, right? Just be able to cast our spells, get these things going. This is great. So I'm gonna keep, but there are definitely matchups where this is bad, and it could definitely go poorly. So we'll see how this works. Gemstone Mine. Okay, so this could be like Amulet Titan. Loaded. Oh, okay, so great. This is Ad Nauseam. That's not good. That's not good because we don't have a turn 1 creature, which means we need to race, and we have about 3 turns. This matchup is also extremely difficult to win because we aren't running enchantment removal, which means if they just mulligan to a Leyline of Sanctity, it's very hard for this deck to win. The version, and that's a dead draw. They don't play creatures, so we basically we're down to 7 cards right now. That's how bad that is. So went from bad to worse. But yeah, they're just gonna play like Phyrexian Unlife. What I really want to draw right now is an Eidolon. Eidolon is a strong card against them. That would be very good. That's a way that you can win these matchups. Like Goblin Guide into Eidolon, that's strong. But yeah, this is... Or like, I don't know. What... The only other option here really is if they get like mana screwed. Like if they don't have a second land drop for this turn, but that seems unlikely. Okay. Okay. Well, maybe we'll get there then. Okay. Actually, and I didn't think of this till just now, this is actually a good matchup for Stony Silence too. Lotus Bloom and Pentad Prism will both lose to this. Or will both be shut off. And I would have liked to have you earlier, but what are you going to do? So they're going to have a million mana next turn, and we might just lose. Goblin Guide on turn 1 would have been great. Yeah, okay, and they're going to get to... Yeah, so they got the Gemstone Mine. The little bit of luck that we had won't matter now when they get 8 mana to work with here. Yeah, so... Especially because they kept their opening hand with, like... 1 land, so my guess is that they had a pretty strong opening hand even with just the 1 land. Yeah, there's Phyrexian Unlife. You know what no, that wouldn't have worked. So basically what happens is for damage they take, how does if anyone hasn't seen this, so they don't lose the game for having 0 or less life. So even though they're at like negative whatever they're at right now, it doesn't matter. As long as this Unlife is on the battlefield, they're fine. So they get to draw their entire deck. They're gonna have Simian Spirit Guides. They're gonna have the 0 mana Pact of Negation to protect themselves. And so now that they're at 0 or below, now damage dealt to them has infect. So basically, it, you know, the math's a little fuzzy, but the simplistic, not exactly correct way to phrase it is that it almost gets them an extra 10 life. So if I could deal them 10 damage right now somehow with the cards in my hand, well, provided they didn't have, looks like two Pact of Negations in hand, then I'd be able to win. But yeah, turn 4 win. This hand wasn't good enough for that. Well, if I'd had the Goblin Guide and we'd been on the play on turn 1, I think we could have been we would have been able to win this game. But yeah, there's no way to do that. So how does this work? I think they, yeah, how many counters does this have? It's like they still even have more lands they can put in, so it doesn't really matter. 12 counters, so X plus, yeah, sure. Well, let's just make them do it. So they could do a couple things. They could either Pact of Negation this, or they could just discard another land. But I'm going to make them. Come on, click through. Ah, there they go. Okay, great. Good job. You saw the not seeable line. Delicious. I have 6. All right, so yeah, we're pretty hooped here. So Searing Blazes come out because they've got no targets. Stony Silences come in, and I think that's pretty much it. But I mean, if they just mulligan to a ley line, it's pretty hard for me to beat them. Right? This path doesn't do anything. Alpine. You know what? Actually, okay, hold on. Maybe Alpine Moon could do something. Let me see what this card does again. Lands your opponent's control, the chosen name, lose all land types, and they gain. I mean, I guess I could bring this in for something like I could turn their Darkslick Shores into. Oh no, that's even worse. Never mind. Sorry, in my mind it was like a Blood Moon, but that's not how it works. It doesn't just tap for red. Yeah, no, sorry. I figured it out. Don't make fun of me online. Or do, I don't care. Alright, okay, so lands, okay, no, lands are all fine. Rest in peace. I don't think that matters. Searing Blood, that definitely doesn't matter. So this is how we want to do it. We're in trouble, and we want any hand that has like at least 2 creatures in it is going to be a keep. And they are, like I said, probably going to mulligan down to a ley line. And with the London mulligan rule, they might not have to go far to find it. You know, before, if they were going to mulligan like super aggressively for a ley line, maybe they might have to go to 5, 4, and then like, okay, if I have a couple creatures and you basically, I mean, you mulligan to say 4 with a ley line, so you basically mulligan to 3, I might be able to race that. Yes, play first. I mean, this hand's fantastic. This is the best possible, like the best reasonable hand I could expect. 2 lands and 3 creatures, keep all day long. All day long. Not only that, I can actually even protect them with a board. Really? Okay. They didn't have a ley. Well, that actually almost frightens me more because it means that their hand is probably very strong. Pentad Prism. Okay. 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 What do they do with their scry? They scry to the top. Oh, jeez. Okay, well, we definitely want to find... we definitely want to find us Stony Silence. I'm definitely going to play the Eidolon before these things come down, but how do I want to do this? I just bolt right now? No, let's suspend the Rift Bolt, because otherwise we're probably never getting it out of our hand. So yeah, we really, we need to play the Eidolon before the Lotus Blooms come down, because when they cast them off suspend, it will, the Eidolon will trigger. But yeah, I 2 Lotus Blooms, 2 games in a row. That's tough. That's tough stuff. So next turn we're gonna get to. Well, I would like to draw a land. That would be a really good draw. So that way I could bolt and cast Eidolon. So next turn we're gonna get to bolt them to 12. Next turn we'll get to bolt them to 12, attack them to 8, playing Eidolon. It's possible playing the Eidolon was better than the Swift Spear, but the problem is that that Rift Bolt was basically a dead card, I think, if I didn't cast it that turn. Yeah, no, because then what am I mean, whatever, if it's a dead card, it's a dead card, right? That's this matchup isn't about card advantage, but I think this puts me in the best position to be able to spend all my spells, or cast all my spells. One bottom, one top. But then again here, the Eidolon would have been able to get 2 Serum Visions triggers, or 2 triggers off Serum Visions. Then it would be able to attack in next turn, so it would deal 6. 2 cards on top. They like both their cards. Okay, well. We'll see how we do here. Fantastic. Absolutely. Again, I don't think it matters, but I guess technically it's better to cast this before I play the Eidolon. Island on top. Okay, well, hey. If they don't have a removal spell, this Eidolon is going to deal some serious damage to them here. And I think one of the only removal spells they actually run is like Slaughter Pact. Like this Pentad Prison doesn't work anymore. Oh yeah, of course. No, but they have Phyrexian Life. Yeah, of course. So the problem with Phyrexian Life, for me, that was a good draw. The problem is that it doesn't start giving poison counters until they have 0 or less. So, like, if I deal them 8 damage right now, it doesn't give them any poison counters. It'll just put them to -6 with 0 poison counters, and then any damage after that. So Bolt was a great draw, because it actually puts them to -1, which means after that, the poison counters start. That is the good thing about that. So this actually is pretty close to lethal here. I don't think it matters, but we're going to do this now. And if this resolves... Actually, I think we got it either way. Yeah, I think we got it either way here. Okay, fantastic. Ooh, a turn 4 win without them having a ley line was good enough. But, like, we needed creatures. We needed a creature beatdown. Holy wow. And we needed to be on the play. Yeah, this matchup is horrible without the ability to destroy enchantments. And yeah, there's nothing to think about that. That's the exact same thing. There's nothing to think about. Hey, we got to game 3 though. Honestly, this is like the worst possible hand. Actually, that's not true. These could be lands as well. This is an obvious mulligan, I think, as I've been talking about how important creatures are. So I want, like, the triple Goblin Guide draw. That's what I want. Just triple Goblin Guide. Opponent mulligan. All right, mulligan. This isn't great. Got a Swift Spear, but that's not great. Okay, is this hand good enough against a ley line? No. Is this hand good enough against a not ley line? Maybe. Okay, here's what I think. I think this is a bad matchup right now with the way the deck's built anyway. So I'm going to mulligan one more time, see if I can find something a little bit better. But, yeah, this is basically the same thing as last time. A little bit worse, actually. I don't need a second Skull Crack. And... I mean... I'm keeping all the 1-mana spells in the land, so it's either the Skullcrack or the Helix. I guess I get rid of the Helix. They did not begin with a leyline, so I probably should have kept that 6-card hand then. Well, what are you going to do? This matchup is not good. This matchup is a tough one. But again, they haven't had leyline in all 3 games. If I had known that ahead of time, it would make my life a lot easier. Lotus Bloom again. That's a bad draw. I put you on the bottom, you... not only that, I'm not even going to get to see my Stony Silences and see if they would have saved me in this game or not. That's the other frustrating part. Okay, well, hey, you know what? That was a good draw, actually. That was a good draw. Oh. It's because we're still in this. So we really want to draw Stony Silence. Always with the unlife. So if we don't draw Stony Silence, we're probably just dead. Because they're going to have enough mana to cast Ad Nauseam. And yeah, we're going to be in trouble. I don't know if that 6-card hand was good enough for a turn 3 win anyway. That's not good enough. It's also a bad curve. Alright. Swamp. Alright, so they probably just have it. But, I mean, if they don't, I mean, okay, we could maybe have a turn or 2 here. I mean, the Phyrexian Unlife itself pretty much gives them a turn, so maybe just that in itself was enough for them to keep the hand, but they probably just have it here. Feels like they always have it. Oh, they're sacking the Lotus Bloom, so that means they have it. Yeah, so, yeah, turn 3 win. Yeah, I don't think any of those hands were strong enough for turn 3 wins, so... like, this deck is very strong. It feels like it shouldn't be super strong. Like, it's, you know, it's not really doing anything. It's kind of like Tron, right? It just adds to the board, or it doesn't really do anything to add to the board. You kind of just attack in, and if they don't have leyline, you can just shoot their face. But even still, like, the turn 3 wins aren't... Yeah. So... yeah. That's frustrating. Frustrating way to lose. If hey, you know what? If Ad Nauseam is a thing again, need to start playing green, maybe. It's not the worst. It's not the worst thing in the world. You know what? Maybe I should be playing my own. Where are they here? Maybe I should be playing my own Angel's Grace. If they try to, right, if they try to hit me with whatever it's called, Lightning Storm or whatever, then I just Angel's Grace in response. That's a playable card. You could play this against Burn or something. What are you doing? Are you just like having fun with me? What's your problem? Target player puts the top 2 cards of their library into their graveyard, draw a card. Oh, right. I was like, you don't have a Lab Maniac out. You do. So now they've got Jace, which is a Laboratory Maniac effect that can't be... yeah, they're having fun. They're winning the other way. Instead of... They could have done it either way. They could have Lightning Stormed me, or they chose to do it this way. So yeah, either way, I mean, they've got their entire... Yeah, anyway. So that's unfortunate. Like I said, tough matchup. Very tough without... without being on the play for 2 of the games and without having access to destroy enchantments, right? Like if I have if I have not Smash Smithereens, if I have Destructive Revelry or something, they can't just go off with this thing unless they risk, right? Like if they cast Ad Nauseum in response, like I could blow this up. I mean, I guess they still have the option of going until they hit Angel's Grace and then doing it, trying to not die that way. But the point is that yeah, they know they've got it. So okay, well, we're 2-2. Our hate cards have not mattered at all. So let's go into the last round. Let's see if we can maybe get, I don't know, Hardened Scales Affinity. See if our Stony Silence has helped there. But has been Andrew, day 2 Dryden. See you in the last round. Here we go, round 5 on the play. Goblin Guide into Eidolon. Love it. Keep. Absolutely. Not even close to a mulligan. It's a fantastic opening hand. We get to slam in with Goblin Guide. Probably get to slam in again next turn. What are we up against? Ooh, Thoughtseize. Okay, so I guess maybe we're not getting the Eidolon. So this is probably Jund or something. I don't love Eidolon against Jund, but I mean, maybe they'll choose not to Thoughtseize. They could also have like an Inquisition in hand, right? Yeah, great. So it's a tough call. They might take the Eidolon, but they might just take Boros Charm, right? Boros Charm is worth 4 damage. Eidolon might only be worth 2. Probably a tough call. Take the Boros Charm. All right, so they probably have removal in their hand. I would like to get as many cards out of my hand as possible. Here, you know what? Let's attack first, then we'll figure out what we're going to do. Let's get some more information. Forest. So, I'm guaranteed 4 damage. Or I can play like the better tempo play. Let's get the Eidolon out. I'm not sure what the better play is. It depends. If they want to Thoughtseize the Boros Charm, I mean, that's going to deal them 4 anyway, but it depends what... I don't know. Like, if they just play like a Tarmogoyf, I'm definitely going to wish I had had the Eidolon out early. It's hard to say. There are combinations of draws that are better and worse. But, yeah, like, if this... And this is obviously Rock or Jund or something, but... My general theory on this is you just want to cast as many spells as you can. Just deal as much damage and cast as many spells as you can. Get your hand empty as quickly as possible, because eventually your hand is going to get emptied with Inquisitions, Thoughtseizes, Liliana, things like that. And you're going to have to race. And once they get their engine going, once they get like a Goyf out and then a Scavenging Ooze and then you know, they're going to have like a 4/4 and a 5/5 creature on the board, and you're going to have like 2 turns. And you're not going to be able to fight through anything. So, okay, well, hey, that's good. That's exactly what we wanted to see. No play at all, so I guess they're just waiting to see if I play something into my own. Ooh, okay, well, that's a little annoying, but what are you going to do? Really? Come on, you've got to do something before damage. You want me to be the happiest guy in the world and just... Yeah, okay, there you go. It's like, they've got to play something. Oh, wow, and I get to just empty my hand here, too. Oh, this is fantastic. How do I want to do this? Yeah, it doesn't even matter. Yeah, Oh, you know what? Ah, crap, too late. I had the option to save the Eidolon with the Boros Charm. That might have been the better choice. Not only because it keeps the Eidolon on the board, and they take 2 and they play the Scavenging Ooze, but also because then the Scavenging Ooze can't eat the Eidolon in the graveyard and get bigger. Like, if it's just the trade, like just the keeping of, like just saving it from the removal spell, that's probably not something I want to do. But the fact that the Boros Charm keeps the Ooze from being able to eat it next turn, yeah, that's a thing. Yeah, that's absolutely a thing. I guess I'll fetch and shock here. If they want to do something, they can, but I didn't want them to play a land and possibly blow me out with Kolaghan's Command. I wanted to be able to cast my Boros Charm at instant speed. Right, like if they play Bloodstained Mire and then I fetch, and then they fetch, and they can Kolaghan's Command me, kill the Goblin Guide, and make me discard a card, that would be rough. So that's why I sequenced it that way. And I don't want to take the last basic out of my deck if I can avoid it. Oh, well, that's good. Oh, that's not good. I was like, oh, good. Scavengers can't even do anything. Yeah, well, you know, that's a thing. Okay, so what would have happened? They would have played that. They would have taken 2, but I'd still have the Eidolon in play. And this would be a 3/4. Yeah, whatever. Okay, Skullcrack. Oh, I forgot about these. Oh, yeah, okay, yeah, you're in trouble. I forgot I had these on suspend. I need to start doing this. I need to start doing this to remind me. Right. This is a much better situation than I thought. Okay. Bolt. It's not a bolt. It's actually a really bad draw. That's pretty bad. Okay. So, again, small benefit by the fact that they, unless they play like another green producing source, they can't play Ooze and eat more than 1 creature. So we can still draw like a bolt or something. They can't play Thoughtseize, which is nice. Yeah, okay. They have to know I don't have it here. That's the one thing. Otherwise, I would have just done it. Okay, well, luckily these lands are coming in tapped. But this is not... Yeah, you can't really attack me. I mean, I guess you could. I guess you could. Something... yeah, that'll do it. Whew. Okay. That'll do it. Turn 5 was good enough against well, I guess this actually doesn't look like Jund. It looks like Rock, but same kind of idea. So against this, we want Paths, and we want Rest in Peace. That's the plan. These are just the hate cards. Easy. Easy sideboarding. Don't even have to worry about it. And I probably want to take out the Eidolons and maybe 2 Searing Blaze. I'm assuming that's what I did for Jund. Do the same thing here. Oh no, sorry. I'm willing to keep the Searing Blazes, but I don't love the creatures. Again, they get killed very easily and they get eaten by Scavenging Ooze. I really don't like the Eidolons because enchantment in the graveyard means Goyf just gets gigantic and I can't deal with that. This enchantment's okay because it eats other enchantments. I'm willing to deal with it for that, but yeah, exactly. Okay, so submit like this. All right. Let's go Rock. Really strong cards, but I don't love the fact that it has 1 land. Yeah, this has some... I don't like mulliganing against... Okay, here's the thing. So already with this hand, this isn't dealing damage, and this isn't dealing damage. These cards are also pretty much supposed to be used against the same threats. So we're sort of like, we're in tough here. But if I just go down cards, then it's almost like I've Inquisitioned myself for free. With the fact that I can sort of make the game stall out a little bit and like extend it with one of these two cards, hopefully. All right, even if they Inquisition one of them away, I can use the other one. So for that reason, I'm going to keep. But this hand needs some help, and this hand could go very poorly. Well, you know what? We're going to get in with our Goblin Guides, and we got a second land, so it's pretty fantastic. I could be conservative with my life total. Yeah, sure. If I draw like exactly an Inspiring Vantage, I'm going to be annoyed that I took 2 damage unnecessarily. Okay, well, we drew him a card. So now, like, they play Goyf. Yep. And this is fantastic. This almost never happens. I actually get to kill a Goyf with a Searing Blaze. This almost never happens. Okay, so here's the thing to keep in mind, though. When I fetch and use the Searing Blaze is going to go in the graveyard as well. So that means before the Goyf dies, it's going to see land and instant in the graveyard. So it's going to be a 2/3. Now, again, the benefit to that is that it still dies to this. But that's one of the reasons why it's so difficult. Because normally on turn 1, pay 2. Sorry, I don't want to talk too much and mess this up, because this would seriously put me behind in this game. But if there were a sorcery or a creature or any other type in there, like, it'd be so easy for this to not die. Wow, that doesn't even feel like I was on the draw there. It feels like I was on the play, because that was such a strong turn. And then future Goyfs I'm not even worried about, because I have these Rest in Pieces and these Path to Exiles. Oh, this is fantastic. I mean, they're getting a little bit of luck here with these Blooming Marshes, so they're not taking any damage off their mana base. But, I mean, I guess the Treetop Village coming in tapped with something. That's fine. Tick down, and then Swift Spear just kills you. Or kills the Liliana. Yeah, that's fine. This Goblin Guide already got 4 damage in. It did what it needed to do. Land. It's okay, I guess. Yeah, and we're just... As much as I want to deal damage to them, I think this game's going to grind a little bit, so we're just going to hit this Lily. I've had like really good responses to each one of their turns so far. Things could go bad anytime now. But I mean, even if they go like Kalitas, I've got 2 really good answers in my hand with Path and Skullcrack. Courser. Yeah, I've got an answer to that too with this Path. They gain a life off here, but like, whatever. Deal with that. Settle for... and actually, I'm going to do it right now so I can untap and use my mana as best as I can. Yeah, just get this 4 toughness annoyance out of my way. So again, now I'm kind of at the point like where I was in game 1, where I was like, well... like I want to get cards out of my hand. Yeah, you know what? I have the 2 Rest in Pieces here. So if they play like a Goyf or something, or if they play a... I guess they play a Scavenging Ooze, that would suck. Okay, so I'm losing a point of damage by doing this. But I'm going to hold up Skullcrack. So if they play a Scavenging Ooze, it's fine. And if they play anything else, I'll just Boros Charm. So I'm losing a point of damage, but, well, whatever. It is what it is. Actually, it's possible I even Lightning Helix. We probably Boros Charm. Now, however, if they do something like play like a Chalice or something, now I would be in trouble. Maybe not trouble, but the Skullcrack would only hold it off for so long. Yeah, okay, that's a thing, sure. Yeah, okay, sure. 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 It's a good draw, except for the fact that everything I in my hand costs 2, so I only get to do one thing. So, what happens here? So, okay, I'm just gonna pass. I'm gonna hold up, and I think I'm just gonna try to draw Burn. Drawing the second Rest in Peace was a bit tough. I think that's again another example of why having... Oh, that's interesting. Why having the third copy be like a relic might have been better. Also would have been able to cast it this turn if it were a relic. So I just get hit for 7 here. That's not bad. I can still win that race here, I think. Oh yeah, see, this isn't too bad. This is fine. That's okay. So now, yeah, I'm gonna go to 12. So actually now if I don't draw a thing to just win, I can play the Rest in Peace to keep from just losing. That's a bad draw. So if they don't have a way to kill this, then I'm not just dead. And they have to pretty much swing out. Yeah, absolutely. Oh, actually I could be in trouble because they could play a land and then also do a clue again. Yeah, I didn't think of that. They didn't crack the second clue. That's interesting. So if Lily goes up, I'm just going to get rid of this Goblin Guide. Okay. Just another reason to get rid of this Goblin guy. Sure. Oh, I didn't think of that. The tireless tracker might be big enough now. Oh no, because they can't animate the treetop villages, right? Okay, so that's okay. Go ahead, draw as many. At this point, the game is like pretty much depending on what my top card is. It doesn't really matter how many clue tokens you get or cards you can draw here. Really, what matters is what my top card is. Why? Like, if you had Bloodbraid Elf or something in your deck, I guess I could see that, right? You want something with like haste, but like, what's your end game here? I don't get it. Oh, that's tough. Oh, oh yeah, that's tough too. Okay, crap. Yep. Yeah, okay, sure. That's something you could draw to make my top card not matter. But I feel like really what you want to do is like if you didn't draw that, like just I don't know. All right, well that's tough because that pretty much means the game's over, but whatever. Yeah. That's too bad. That's also too bad. Okay. Yeah, that sucks. Okay, well, I think we got a game 3 here still. So, unfortunate way to lose that, especially considering how good my first couple turns were. I was able to Searing Blaze a Goyf. That never happens. Never, ever, ever happens. Yeah, whatever. Okay, just whatever. What did they discard? Oh, they didn't have a card in hand. Thought maybe they'd show me a new card. Okay, yeah, just don't click through your attack step. I actually kind of want them to click through their attack step. This game could have been over like 3 turns ago if you had just done this from the start. This is what I was worried about you doing. Hey, look at that. You got there. Cool beans. Good for you. All right. Okay, so yeah, I think we're still fine, but I mean, we could use Searing Bloods. They kind of don't work with Rest in Peace. That's the problem. No, I think we're still good. I think this is fine. We just need to draw that little bit extra gas and be able to cast all our spells. Spells kind of got stuck in our hand. They were a little clunky, unfortunately. Turn 1 creature, a bunch of spells. Yeah, great. Keep. You know, but is a Courser on the battlefield, you know, with a Path to Exile in my hand better than, I don't know, the Courser being on the battlefield for another like 3 turns, and you know, I can use the path on a I don't want to do this like this, I guess. This is the one time Skewer doesn't have super awkward synergy with this. Please don't have a Fatal Push. Probably will, and that's fine. But would prefer you to not have a Fatal Push here. Always with the Fatal Push. Putting them to 10 there would be huge. Getting 4 damage instead of 1 out of that Swift Spear would be a big deal. On the bright side, it looks like all the cards in my hand are going to be safe. That's really tempting. That's really tempting to kill. No, I don't think so. I think we just shoot them in the face. I think that's all we want to do there. I'm not even going to play the creature out. Do-do-do. Sure. Excuse me. Wow. No plays, huh? Interesting. So I assume they must just have a whole bunch of removal in hand. Assassin's Trophy, maybe. Oh, that's a good draw. That's good to the point where I'm actually going to put this Goblin Guide out into danger, too. If they have removal, then fine. Might be like Assassin's Trophy, sure, draw me a land. If it's Collective Brutality, again, that's... I was actually thinking, again, I can play around Collective Brutality this way. It's actually great. If they want to use Collective... Oh, see, this is great. Sure. Get a land out of my deck. I don't even need to fetch now. If they want to use Collective Brutality to gain 2 life, take a card out of my hand, that's fine. I'll Skullcrack in response. Put them down to 4. But we do need to dodge a little bit of hate here. And top decking, like, I don't know, Boros Charm would obviously be really great. Oh, what's that? Opponent at 4 life? Boros Charm? Yeah, math works out there. You debating the Collective Brutality? You debating whether or not I'm sucking you into this play? If you are, I am. I am 100% sucking you into this play. I have so much untapped mana. I think you play... I think if you're the opponent, you don't do that. I think it's just too obvious that I've got... Like, I have 3 untapped mana, and I didn't do anything. I don't know. Maybe I'm wrong. Okay, would really like a Boros Charm here. Or Skullcrack. I'd settle for that, but Boros Charm would be the best. That is, like, so by far the worst. Like... Oh, man, come on. Like, I know I didn't fetch to thin, but I'm thinking, okay, 4 lands already. We've already got 4 lands. Like, what are the chances we draw the 5th? Apparently they're good enough. I'm just going to get my head kicked in by this Goyf now. This is how I lose every one of these games. Oh, man. Oh, Goyf. Oh, my old nemesis. Like, it's just a 3-turn clock. Tarmogoyf is just like, well, you better win in 3 turns here. Oh, boy. Okay, we need Lightning Helix, or... That'll do! Holy crap. We get there? Please don't tell me they have Weather the Storm. Okay, woo! We did it! Nice! Yeah, Goyf is like, and that's why I'm bringing in 3 Path to Exiles, 3 Rest in Peace. Goyf is Goyf comes down on turn 2, and it means, well, if you don't win by turn 5, I'm probably going to win by turn 6. Because this Goyf is just going to smash you in the face for like 4 turns in a row, and you won't live. You won't survive that. So... Wow, those matchups are tough, and they're pretty close. So we managed to get there. Fantastic. We really only saw the hate cards in like 1 matchup, 2 matchups against like Tron when it didn't really work. Although I think I remember that being because I got stuck on 1 land for too many turns. And then against Jund, they did okay, but in game 3, we didn't even see it. We just raced and won. And then in game 2, I mean, it bought us a turn or two, but we kind of stalled out. So, yeah, I don't know. Maybe that's not the way to do Modern. Maybe I honestly think a mono here. You know what? Well, okay, here we'll go to the deck list and we'll look at it there, and I'll talk about what I think about that going forward. So yeah, thanks for tuning in. Let's go do a wrap up deck check. This has been Andrew, day 2 Dryden. See you there. All right, so this is the deck we used today, and then of course don't forget we got the Skewer the Critics tucked away at the bottom down here. In fact, just so you can see like the whole deck, I'm gonna remove the 2 Bloodstained Mires. So this is the wrong list now, obviously, but outside of the Bloodstained Mires, we can see everything on the screen at once. So yeah, I think, you know what, like Blood Moon is a weird card right now. Yeah, there's answers to it, but there's so many decks that need answers to it. I think like Free Win Red or like a mono red burn with Blood Moon, I think those could absolutely be good choices right now. You know, Ad Nauseam, Valakut, all the Titan decks, like Jund and things like that. Like a lot of these decks have trouble fighting through a Blood Moon. There are a lot of non-basic mana bases going around right now. So I think that's a legitimate play. Maybe the next video I do will be mono red with like Blood Moons in the sideboard. As long as you can fight through those pro red creatures, as long as you have a plan for that, I think you're fine. And you don't even need to worry as much about Dragon's Claws and stuff now that mono red Phoenix and Prowess aren't really a thing anymore either. So that's kind of neat. So yeah, overall, would I change anything about this deck? No, I think this is very playable. I think it's very strong. I think the sideboard cards were still good. I don't know if Alpine Moon was any good. Maybe that was a bit, I don't know. Maybe I was being a bit silly throwing that in. I had Leyline of Sanctity in that slot before, but really against Burn and Jund, and those are the only decks I really wanted those against. And even then, sometimes it's kind of weak against Jund, so or Rock or whatever. But yeah, overall, I think the card we saw the most work out of in this league was probably Skullcrack, maybe. Which I really like having 4 copies in the main deck. Sometimes it's hard to make those fit, and you just end up putting them in the sideboard as like a hedge. But I really like Skullcrack. I find that there's so many matchups where I'm like, man, I really wish I had access to Skullcrack right now. Yeah, there's a couple in the deck, but like if I had 4, maybe I could have held it up for this main deck life gain that, I don't know, Titan Shift or one of those other decks is running. So, yeah, overall pretty good. Would have been nice to play against like humans, maybe the Wurza deck, something like that, sort of see how some of those hate slots would have worked, but overall not bad. So yeah, like I said, I think I might do a mono red list. If that interests you for the next video, please do mention that in the comments section. Again, really appreciate everyone's viewership. Pretty crazy, really busy with school right now. The school year starting up. There were times last year during the school year where like the only game I was playing, or the only league I was playing every 2 weeks was the league I was recording for Nikachu. So I'm trying to make sure I get at least a league or 2 out every week. And I don't want to go too long without playing a league, and make sure I stay up on the meta, because there's a lot of changes going around. Modern's in a really weird place right now after all these bannings. Things are, Stoneforge Mystic and all this stuff. So there's a lot of people sort of figuring things out, a lot of deck lists haven't seen before, and weird changes that I haven't been expecting. So trying to make sure I stay as up on the meta as I can. Either way though, like I said, nice to have you here. If you have questions, comments, put them in the description below. Or put them in the comment section below. Again, please do check out Patreon. Even just one-time contributions, very helpful, very appreciated. You need to buy editing software and all this other stuff. So with all that said and done, hope you enjoyed your time here. This has been Andrew, day 2 Dryden, and I will see you next time.